Okay, well, turn the microphone on, and that usually works. You're back on the air, the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker across America, and thank you for tuning in to the program as we are headed now into our 50 minutes of non-stop talk here on Spreaker, here on GJRB Online. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you're listening across America here on GJRB. And thank you so much for tuning in. I love talking on the radio here on GJRB Online. And I'm sorry if I was kind of like feeling irritated last hour. It's just like one of those things that every once in a while I kind of get that way. It's just that way. And every once in a while I kind of get a little frustrated because of my programming and everything and trying to juggle a lot of programs and anyway, trying to find my pencil, and here it is. Trying to mark down stuff here. Okay. Alright. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Gary Russen program right here on GJRB Online as we're doing a 50 minutes of nonstop talk, and got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about here on GJRB Online, so we got a lot of time to do that. And going to, again, try to post all over the place. I think the part of it is the fact that every time I go off the air and come back on, I lose listeners. I think that's the whole thing. And because everybody thinks I'm over and the show's done, and so, and then Facebook not reposting me, so I lose more listeners. It's been kind of frustrating for me over the past several months doing this Spreaker and GJRB Online, because it's not anybody's fault. It's just that the program is not. It's just hard to explain. It just is. And well, what was I going to say? Well, I always forget what I'm going to say. Sometimes it just happens. Anyway, I hope you'll stay with me at least this afternoon. Kind of slow afternoon, so I'm going to kind of go now over to the main page over on my Twitter, and we're going to go and scroll down that page a little bit and see if we can find something to talk about. And you're welcome to join the program, and we're on Spotify. That's one of the platforms we're on. I think we're supposed to be on Google Podcast as well. Of course, I don't, check to see if I'm on there. So I just hope I'm on there. But I know I'm on Spotify for sure. And also on Twitter and Google Plus. Why do I say Google Plus? Is Google Plus still around, or is that gone? Because I know I keep saying that, and I gotta quit saying that. If it's gone, it's not there. That was another site, kind of like Facebook in a way, because they would post stuff on there, and I used to post my show on there at the beginning of this station a long time ago, and I liked it because I was able to get listeners on there. Right now, though, let's see. We're going to go down the page a little bit. We're going through some of the news items. Let's go to my main site here. And if I run out of things to talk about, I'm going to play some music, as I am doing 50 minutes of nonstop music and talk here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker. So anybody out there listening to the program, love to hear from you. We're going to throw some music in here to make it interesting, and that'll give me a chance to post some more. Let's see. 20 minutes before the top of the hour, so I thought, why don't we just do this? I'm going to do a sports page update and do that. Get ready for that here. I need to get that soundbite I want from that story. So I'm going to pop in that under my, and after I do sports page update, we'll just play a song. and see if we can circulate this show around some more. I had 2 people at the beginning of the program to start off the show. Blake Myers stopped in and said hi. So I want to say hi to Blake, if he's still out there in the ether. Also, Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative, was with us at the beginning of the program. But nobody in this segment. Well, I hope maybe that'll change. Meanwhile, I'm going to go into my news area here where I have my sound bites and pull up, get ready for the that. Let's see here. Where is that? Because I always lose my sound. There it is. Let's see if that's the one we're looking for. Yeah. I knew I had a sports envelope. Now I lost it. Where the heck? I thought I put it in there. Let's see. Fox Newscast. Let's go to Fox News. Here it is. It was in that one. Oh, Fox Newscast. Sports soundbites. Here we go. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's do a sports page update. Got to get the page here up and going. And this probably information probably changed since the last time, but let's do a sports page update. Starts now. Well, the Wimbledon semifinals, Roger Federer had defeated Rafael Nadal and will go on to play against Novak Djokovic, and looking for his 5th title in the All England. He's looking for his 5th title in the England club, 6th final appearance. NBA is reuniting Russell Westbrook and James Harden. The Rockets acquired Westbrook from a Thunder in the trade, and along with Chris Paul, Oklahoma City acquired first-round picks since the draft. Harden and Westbrook are all played together and started their careers together at the Thunder. And Stephen Curry up to the challenge of for a new look at the Warriors. Steph Curry is in a challenge for the new Warriors and the new NBA.
Different in terms of the lineups and things like that, the expectations of how we play, and that championship challenge of basketball. That's going to for us all to be the motivation and the challenge.
Yeah, and he got interviewed at a golf tournament there. He was speaking at an American Century Golf Championship tournament over in Lake Tahoe. And some of the games going on, let's see. I'm going to check with the that here. I believe the Cubs are playing up against Pittsburgh. And the last check, they were kind of scoreless. So we'll take a look at the Cubs and all that scores coming up a little later on. This has been a Sports Page Update on GRB Online, the Gary Russen program here on Spreaker. And thank you a lot for listening to the program and all my shenanigans here. And we'll have another sports update coming up next hour. We'll take a look at the Cubs. We're doing 50 minutes of non-stop talk and music here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. I'm Gary J. Russen. Thanks a lot for tuning in to the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. Headed into the final hour of the show. And we'll keep on going here on GJRB. So we're going to flip over to the new hour here pretty soon. And you could be on the show with me if you want to so desire. And that is, why don't we pull up my Skype? I forgot to do that again, didn't I? Pull up my Skype? Yeah, I did. I usually have that up. And unfortunately, I didn't. My Skype was not up. I hate when that happens. Why did I not have my Skype up? Anyway, my Facebook is opened, I believe. So I'm going to go there once again, and there's in case I get calls on there, you can call me on the Facebook Messenger by hitting the call button there and getting on the show that way. And let's see, what is this? Okay, is that part 2? Yeah, we're still on part 2. I'm going to... part 2 is almost over, so I'm going to post next hour. Okay, so I'm not going to even worry about part 2. It's not even worth a pain in the bother to post on Facebook if, I mean, really, I'm just that frustrated with them. Anyway, let's see. I want to go now to oh shoot, why don't we just play a song for a little bit? I'm gonna let's throw in an oldie here while I kind of get things straightened out here a little bit and head into the next hour. So I'm gonna kind of pop in something really good from my oldie stash. Let's see. Let's go down to my oldies, 50s, 60s rock and roll here, and play something from the early 60s, something good. So why don't we do that? Okay? Take a break, play something really good. Take it back to the 60s with Dreamin' on GJRB, Gary Russen program on Spreaker.
Dreamin', I'm always dreamin', dreamin', love will be mine. Searching, I'm always searching, hoping someday I'll find someone to love me, someone who needs me. But until then, well, I'll keep on dreaming, keep right on dreaming, dreaming till my dreaming comes true. Dreamin', I'm always dreamin', dreamin', love will be mine. Searching, I'm always searching, hoping someday I'll find someone to love me, or someone who needs me. But until then, well, I'll keep on dreaming, keep right on dreaming, dreaming till my dreaming comes true.
There you go, Johnny Barnett and Dreamin' on GJRB Online, the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition here on Spreaker. Across America, thanks a lot for tuning in, and let's see, we're going to keep on talking here. And I was going through playing that music, and I found another interesting story. A good friend of mine who's also a follower here on Spreaker, and he has a new show on Spreaker, by the way. I need to acknowledge him. I haven't listened to his show yet either. His name is Wayne S. Pierce, and he's posting a very interesting story, which I like to read because of my frustration with him. Anyhow, as soon as this pops up, this is an interesting story. This comes from CNBC. Facebook is now being slapped with a $5 billion fine over privacy lapses. This is a interesting story here. The Federal Trade Commission has approved an approximately $5 billion settlement with Facebook over the company's 2018 Cambridge Analytica scandal. The person familiar with the matter told Wall Street Journal several other news outlets separately reported the approval. The fine represents the largest number of imposed by the FTC against tech company. Previously, the agency's largest fine against the tech company came in 2012 when Google agreed to pay $22.5 million penalty due to its privacy practices. The fine would then represent approximately 9% of Facebook's 2018 revenue. Facebook now took a one-time charge of $3 billion in anticipation of the FTC fine in April and the company's first quarter results. FTC approved the settlement by a 3-2 vote along party lines, with Republicans in favor and Democrats against, and will now be reviewed at the Department of Justice. The FTC Facebook declined to comment to CNBC. Yeah, you would kind of figured it would. The FTC also began probing Facebook in March of 2018, following reports that political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica was accessed data of 87 million Facebook users. The agency concerned that Facebook had violated the terms of a 2011 agreement which required Facebook to give users very clear notifications when the data was being shared with third parties. So I don't know if that could come out of. That should be a very interesting turn of events there. Meanwhile, I was listening to that story that I almost forgot about, which I think I ought to talk about, because this is kind of interesting too. Besides the labor guy, and I'll talk about that. The magnitude 4.6 earthquake, up to 25 inches of rain. I don't want to read that. What I'm looking for, here it is. R. Kelly, you hear about him? Wow, R. Kelly is in big trouble too. Boys, he's in a heap of trouble. According to this story, R. Kelly was arrested on federal child porn charges. He was arrested on that. 13-count indictment handed down early yesterday by the federal court of Northern District of Illinois. Includes child pornography, enticement, and minor obstruction of justice. So R. Kelly is in a heap of trouble here, folks. Listen to this.
The same charge R. Kelly is in there right now in jail. I want to know where my daughter is. Where is she at? Answer that question.
Miss Kelly was arrested yesterday.
Answer that question.
Walking his dogs yesterday.
No.
After he walked his dogs, he was arrested. The Northern District of Illinois. Hold up a second. Hold up.
He was at the Trump Tower yesterday.
Any questions? I was not at Trump Tower.
I said we was at Trump Tower.
I wasn't there.
They got he wasn't there. Well-being check.
Okay, so come on. I ain't moved nobody.
No, you a part of his camp, right?
I'm not a part of any camp.
Oh.
Hold on a second. Let me explain something to you right quick.
Are you speaking for
Let me
him
explain
right
something to you right quick, because I'm not going to allow you to come in and interrupt my press conference. Y'all coming at me as if I have your daughter. No. I'm not. Hold up a second. I'm not a part of any camp. I am.
Oh man, that's whoa. Anyway, he was arrested on federal sex charges on Thursday night, nearly 5 months after he was released on bail on the additional sexual abuse charges brought by Illinois prosecutors. Spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office. The 52-year-old was arrested in Chicago by Homeland Security investigators, agents, and the NYPD Public Safety Force. Officials told News 4 R. Kelly had stepped out for a smoke and to walk his dog when he was taken into custody at around 7 o'clock p.m. local time. Law enforcement source familiar with that source is saying that. He was then being held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago, according to the Federal Prisons Bureau website. Steve Greensburg is attorney for R. Kelly, confirmed Thursday's arrest, adding that the agents were courteous and professional, as was Mr. Kelly. So Now, let me see. There's a quote here from Greenberg, not Greensburg, Greenberg. Quote, the conducted alleged appears to be largely at the same as the conduct previously alleges against Mr. Kelly in his current state indictment and his former state charges that he was acquitted for. Close quote. And then goes on to say most, if not all, of the conduct alleged is decades old. So, again, you have to wonder about that too. Some of the allegations being that old, but there's still allegations nonetheless. No, I don't know what Channel 4 that came from, because there is no Channel 4 in Chicago. It used to be, but I don't know where they got that. 'Cause that story came from Channel 5 in Chicago, by the way. And let's see. Walmart targeting copycats, defiling products you might be buying. Did you hear about that? Well, of course, about that one girl who, where was that now? Licked some ice cream and then put it back in the case. Isn't that kind of like stooping down to the lowest point to do that? I mean, how stupid is that, folks? Really? I mean, how dumb is that? What brain? I'm telling you, these youngsters today, their brains are gone. They're fried. They're whatever drugs they take. I mean, whatever possessed anybody to try to lick an ice cream, whatever that is, and then put it back in the kit. What the heck is wrong with these kids? I'm telling you. Stupid. Well, it's an attention thing. It's notoriety. Pull this kind of stunt. They want to do this. So what do you think about that one? We're going to get into that in the last hour, final hour of the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. We're doing 50 minutes of nonstop talk and music, and in the last hour we'll take a look at our program schedule and tell you what's coming up on GJRB Online, and do a shout out to all our Spreaker podcasters. We're going to do that in this next hour. And coming up also in the final hour, I will talk about what we're going to do tomorrow. The Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra at 3 o'clock Central Time. Got a hold of Ben Osman, and he's going to be with us tomorrow. And so check that out. We're going to be on live tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. He usually comes in my second hour, usually. I have him come in about the second hour, and we usually spend the last 2 hours together, so it's cool. 5 o'clock Central Daylight Time right now. You're listening to the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, on GJRB Online in Clinton, Iowa, the GJRB Online Network. And a brief break on our 9-foot signal for Station ID. This is the GJRB Online Network. And Gary J. Russen. This is the Gary Russen program, Saturday. This is the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition. Get my show right. And in this hour, we're going to wrap up the Gary Russen program with our last hour of stuff. More scroll through social media, more music, and talk about our program schedule a little bit more. And talk about what I'm doing, what I'm trying to attempt to do with our GJRB schedule. Again, it's still spontaneous, and still trying to build up a program appearance on here, and getting all my shows lined up, and trying to come up with a really neat radio schedule here on GJRB Online and its 9-foot affiliates. So that's what I'm working on. Got a lot of ideas for some new shows, and trying to get listeners on our shows. So I'm trying various things. And of course, this hour was kind of interesting. I never saw this happen before here on Spreaker. I don't know how I did it, but we exactly put in an hour in the 4 o'clock hour, and we're now entering 5 o'clock hour with 19 minutes and 45 seconds left. So I got to figure out how the heck I did that, because I like that idea. But I'm going to let this finish out, and then I'm going to flip over. So we're just going to keep that 50 minutes of nonstop talk going, because we did that at 4:36. So 24 minutes after 5 o'clock, we'll end our 50 minutes of nonstop talking music. So we still got some time yet. And this hour, we want to see if we can get some listeners. So if there's anybody out there, we're going to post some more on my pages. But you heard the news. There's a big immigration crackdown. And you heard, and I had mentioned that on the last hour's newscast. I haven't mentioned this yet, but it's been in the national news for some time today. That the Trump administration now repeatedly planning for raids across the country beginning Sunday with thousands of illegal immigrants. The report comes from a New York Times, which cited that 2 current Homeland Security officers. The Times says the final details are rapidly changing and operation remain in flux. The raid will be conducted by Immigration and Customer Enforcement over several days. The officials said immigrant agents, this has come from CBN News, the officials said the immigration agents were targeting at least 2,000 immigrants who have been ordered to be deported, some because they didn't appear in court and they still in the U.S. illegally. These raids are expected to take place in at least 10 major cities. The story comes from a new poll which shows that 51% of American voters would support the mass deportation for up to 22 million illegal aliens believed to be living in the United States if Congress fails to close loopholes in the asylum system. The Harvard-Harris poll found that 8 in 10 Republican voters and 5 in 10 swing voters said President Trump should carry out the mass deportation if Congress doesn't act. The poll found that Democrats and voters are all supported Hillary Clinton in the 2016 elections were less likely to approve the deportations. And again, it's like I've said before, all of it has to do with the Democratic vote. Okay, that is the only reason why they're keeping them here. It's the only reason why they're handing them out driver's licenses. It's the only reason why they are, doing that is because, we gotta get them extra votes in there. We want to get Trump out of there, right? So I believe that this is the reason why they're keeping them here. It's all about the vote. It's all about keeping them here so that they are in the 2020 elections, and to vote Trump out of office. I quite frankly think that's what the case is. You can't tell me anymore. I just sincerely believe that. There's no other, really. And let's see what other news is going on here this hour. Walmart's targeting, this is again a CBN news story reporting that Walmart is now going to target. They have video that posted several media showing a grocery store customer opening up a tub of ice cream and licking the ice cream and closing the lid and placing it back in the freezer shelf. Has inspired 3 other copycat crimes by people seeking internet fame. What did I tell you? Law enforcement officials of Lufkin, Texas, said that they have seen a teen could face charges of tampering with consumer products, punishable by a prison term of up to 20 years and a $10,000 fine. The video has received more than 13 million views. 2 other incidents also involving ice cream also had turned up on social media. The Twitter user also goes by the name of Sean Mendes, and a friend who made a video of him scooping out a chunk of ice cream before putting it back in the freezer, according to Summit News. I mean, who gets the nerve of actually going into a store, pulling ice cream out of the casing, opening it up, licking it, and putting it back? I mean, who has the nerve of doing something that stupid? Plain stupid. I mean, really. That's just the dumbest thing I've seen yet so far, beside the Tide Pod thing a number of years ago. Kids are just doing the dumbest, stupidest, idiotic, moronic things today. I just don't get it. So I don't know. Reach out and slap them. I'm telling you, getting really sick of this garbage. Anyway, we're going to get on some more stories. Did you hear about this explosion in North Carolina at a Kentucky Fried Chicken? We got that coming up. Trump hosts a social media summit. Hear about this? To tackle tremendous dishonest bias discrimination. This is good. Oh, yeah. Check this out. Trump hosting the social summit to tackle the tremendous dishonesty of discrimination. President Trump hosted the social media summit at the White House Thursday. He tweeted that a big topic will be the tremendous dishonesty, bias, discrimination, and suppression of practice by certain companies. So Trump's doing something about this here. You never know. GJRB just might be back on Facebook sooner or later. Conservative biocritics attended the event, but no executives from the social companies showed up, I guess. Trump is upset of the left-leaning media outlets, big tech, and social media companies for limiting the conservative voices. This is a report. This is something from the... here, listen to this. This is from CBN.
You're challenging the media gatekeepers and the corporate censors to bring the facts straight to the American people, and that's what you're doing. You're going right to the people.
Welcome to Faith Nation. I'm John Jessup.
And I'm Jenna Browder. President Trump playing host at the White House today at a summit on social media. The invitation list including conservative voices like the Heritage Foundation and internet personalities, some known for pushing conspiracy theories.
Not invited, though, some of the biggest names in the social sphere like Facebook and Twitter. The president is a frequent critic of tech companies censoring conservative viewpoints. He took a dig at them and the media today, tweeting, "The fake news is not as important or as powerful as social media." Today, CBN News political analyst David Brody spoke with one of the invitees to the summit. Take a look.
Joining us now, the Vice President of Communications for the Heritage Foundation, Rob Bluey, who will be at today's summit. Rob, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, David.
Well, what's the goal? What do you hope to kind of get out of this and the takeaway at the end of all of this, Rob?
Number one, I'd like to hear some of the other examples of bias from some of the other participants who will be at the White House today. And secondly, I think it's an opportunity to get conservatives together, convene this meeting, and hopefully talk about some solutions. And I hope those solutions don't involve the government coming in and stepping in, because I think that's probably a heavy-handed role for the government to play when it comes to, addressing some of the concerns that will be talked about at today's summit.
For sure, there is one thing you just mentioned about bias. What about examples that the Heritage Foundation, the Daily Signal, obviously part of the Heritage Foundation, that you have experienced or that folks over there have seen? Can you give some examples and maybe something you might want to share with the president as well?
Well, we sure do have examples, David, and I expect if I'm given the opportunity to plan to share them with the president today. I think the most notable example is the Daily Signal published a video last year with a pediatrician talking about the dangers of giving puberty blockers to kids. The video went viral on Facebook. In fact, it reached 70 million views when all of a sudden it disappeared. And we took our case to Facebook. We said, why did you take this down off of your platform? It took Facebook a little while to get back to us, but eventually they did restore the video and apologize for doing that. But more recently, David, we had a colleague of mine who was on Twitter using it, was accused of hateful conduct on Twitter. We said, this can't possibly be hateful conduct. What are you talking about? And it took about a week, but Twitter eventually restored his account and apologized to him. And I think that in both of these cases, it was because of the content that we as conservatives believe in.
I want to ask you, Rob, a little bit about this list. You know, the media has made a big deal about extremists. That's what they put in. They put it in quotes. Extremists attending this White House social media summit. Obviously, Heritage Foundation. They don't mention you guys, but there are others on that list that they think are considered extremists. What do you make of that and trying to be lumped in with all of that?
Well, it's no surprise to hear that a media that typically hates Donald Trump trying to position this in a way that would have negative effects in terms of some of the attendees. Look, I mean, I can't speak to all of them, and I don't even frankly know who's going to be there. I'll find out as the summit kicks off, to be honest with you, David. But I can say this. I mean, as the Heritage Foundation, we're proud of the fact that we are the #1 ranked think tank in the world for our best use of the internet.
I know there's concern about how Google and others on the internet mess with the algorithms to mess up conservatives, and that leads to bias. Can you explain a little bit about that?
That's certainly a big factor, and I expect it to come up today. President Trump has said that, that's one of his primary concerns about Google. And what it means is when you type in a search question to Google, Google will have an algorithm that gives you the answer. And if you don't have conservative sources or you have biased sources that are coming back, chances are you're influencing public opinion and people's perspective on certain issues. So that is a concern that a big tech company could employ when it comes to search results.
Rob Louie with the Heritage Foundation. Have fun over there at the White House Social Media Summit. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
And there you go. But that is just...
President Trump is taking on search engine giant Google and other social media. Tuesday, he tweeted out, quote, Google search results for Trump news shows only the viewing reporting of fake news media. In other words, they have it rigged for me and others so that almost all stories and news is bad. Google responded saying, quote, search is not used to set a political agenda, and we don't bias our results toward any political ideology.
Imagine that. Yeah. Okay. Whether or not that's true, it's just, I think, again, it's their way of sitting on the denial seat. They're going to sit there and say they're doing this, but come on now. Who do you believe? Really? I don't know. It's crazy. I think it's because I just was frustrated with the fact that Facebook, who, again, they make me pay $10 to reach 1,000 people with my broadcast, when I can take this over to MeWe and Convo and have it up there for free and have my show up there. And that's basically what I'm doing. I took it at other places. And again, I take this show up even to other places like I'm going to, and haven't done it yet, but I'm going to. And that's, I'm going to go over to Pinterest now, which I'm going to go over to that and start posting this program, the live part of it. And I already have it now on Pinterest. So I have this part on Pinterest. The first part I'll put on Pinterest after I get off the air so that you can listen to the show from the very beginning. But you can catch this show on Pinterest, and you can catch it on Twitter, and And you can listen to this show live on Twitter and other places. So there you go. I have ways around it. You know, like I always say, if I can't get a touchdown, I can get a field goal. And my field goal is 3 points for getting this show out in the ether on Facebook despite their restrictions. So, you know, I'll get it where I want to because, you know, I do what I want and I say what I want. And if people are offended by it, too bad. So as I posted yesterday, I had a good posting on Facebook yesterday, which I thought was pretty good, John Wayne. And I love it. And I'm going to talk about that one a little later on, too. You're listening to the Gary Russen program. Saturday Extra is on tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. We're going to start at 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 2 o'clock Mountain, and 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow on GJRB Online Network. And probably about the second hour, Ben is going to join us. And we're going to talk about some stuff in the news. Ben and I'm going to talk about that sinkhole in Pittsburgh and McKnight Road down there in the North Hills. And it was a huge thing. We're going to get into that here coming up in this hour here because that's another interesting one. And I'll give you our weather for Clinton, Iowa coming up on Weather on the Fives in this next segment. And a shout out to all our listeners on Spreaker coming up too. So keep it here on GJRB Online, the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Sunshine outside our Spreaker studios right now, and last check it was 86 degrees, so we haven't checked it in a while, so we'll do that here in a little bit. And you're welcome to be a part of the program. Love to hear from you. The Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. You can, let's see, the last hour. And even though I didn't put up my Skype, I really don't get anybody on Skype who call me on Skype. But you can. I'm going to pull that up. I need to pull that up here. Let's see. I'm just gonna go here where I can go into the main page, the mainframe, the desktop. Yeah, right here, and go into GJRB. Oh, where's it now? Here it is. Skype. Here it is. Okay, I'm gonna go into Skype and open that up because I am on there. Gary.Russen on Skype. If you are listening through Facebook, through some kind of miracle, you can get a hold of me by calling me on the Facebook Messenger and hitting that call button. If you are a friend of mine on Facebook, you are exclusive. When you do that, you get in there where my name is and hit that call button. It'll ring in the Spreaker Studios and I'll answer and put you on the air. And we'll talk a little bit if you want to. So you want to be on the air. And of course, this show is being heard. Also, you can hear this program on Spotify. So this podcast is available on Spotify, so you can listen right there as well. And the number, again, Gary.Russen on Skype. And, of course, Gary John Russen on Facebook. And you can listen to the show on Twitter by getting in there, www.Spreaker, just get in there. And you can listen to the show, and you can listen to all the podcasters I'll be talking about this next hour as we wrap up our show here on GJRB Online, the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. And we're coming into the final part, so I'm going to be right back after we take this quick break. And get ready for the final part. Be right back. This is the Gary Russen program on the GJRB Online Network. Be right back.